Good morning, Recruiting Gym Junkies. I hope you're well. Today is a great day to be alive. And Gareth started us off today reminding us of Captain Tom. Now, I thought I'd start with Captain Tom, and it was great to be reminded of that by Gareth. Obviously, you've got someone that's 99 years old, walking the length of his sort of little street, and he's doing it with his frame, and he's pushing on. And I think what's fantastic about what he's achieved is I think it's reminded everybody about the situation we're in, but also provides a little bit of perspective. Obviously, when Captain Tom's got his medals on his chest, what he reminds us is that we have been through hard times before. But also, he reminds us that the times that we're going through now, whilst economically are really challenging, and we are facing a threat of a virus. Back in the world wars, we weren't reporting on 700 people having died in a day. We were reporting on thousands dying in a day, every day. They lost 25 million people in Russia. You can hardly say people were untouched by that. And so the times we're in at the moment are tough. But we're not sending people out to war. We've got our nurses and our doctors that are on the front line and working hard to save lives. And sadly, some of those are exposed in a way where they get the virus and die. And that will touch many families across the whole of the world. But what Captain Tom does is remind us is that in challenging times, we do need the grit. We need that persistence, and we need to be comfortable in doing the things that make us uncomfortable. What Captain Tom shows us is that, like, it must be hurting him, right? Like, probably he's enjoying a little bit of the attention, but what he's trying to show is a lesson to us all that we've got to push on. And I hope to be Captain Tom in years to come. I've got a neighbour who's 85 years old, and there's not a day goes by where I don't hear some sort of tapping in the garden. And it's because he works hard and he keeps fit and he keeps healthy and he keeps positive, and he's trapped in his house and will be for the next few months. But you can still see the belief in his eyes that things will get better because he's known harder times. So fair play, Captain Tom. Fair play to all the doctors and the nurses and the care workers that are going out and exposing themselves to the virus every day to help keep everybody else safe. And yeah, so that thank you. So then I thought about, well, what are we going to talk about today? And what I'm struggling with at the moment is especially what can I give people that are furloughed to do? Now, some of the things you can't do when you're furloughed is you can't be making loads of candidate calls. You can't be making loads of client calls. You can't be really filling vacancies. So what can you do if you want to be proactive and you want to be engaged? Well, one of the things we often don't make time for is promoting ourselves. How are you building your own online presence? Often we're so busy finding candidates. All we ever talk about on LinkedIn is we're recruiting. And we don't actually stop to think, what relationships are we building with our wider support network? One of the fantastic things about the daily stand-ups is not only do we have recruiters that are here live every day, we also have providers that are live as well. And one of the things I've really valued in my 5 years of running my business is not necessarily the success that I've had, but the network that I've built of people that serve the same industry of myself. I can see Simon Lewis from Members Only in the chat as we speak. And it's those things that make me feel part of a bigger whole when maybe sometimes I feel a little bit lonely. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a few steps that you can do over the next couple of days to help you start building your online presence. And we're going to go into a bit more depth each day. So the first thing you need to do is work out, well, who is your audience? Who is your audience? Because often we think our audience is recruiters. If you go on to LinkedIn at the moment, you've got lots of recruiters talking to recruiters, which is great because we can all support each other. But the challenge and the difficulty is those aren't the individuals that are going to be giving us opportunities in the weeks and months ahead. And so what you need to do is pick, right, well, what is the tribe that I want to become part of? Where do I want to be connected to, and who do I want to be engaging with across that industry in order for me to feel like I'm connected and I have access to market intelligence that I wouldn't have had day to day? One of the key parts of being a successful recruiter is not our ability to provide candidates, but it's about our ability to be part of the industry that we serve, to understand the trends, to understand the movers, the shakers, the winners, the losers. We can do all those things while we're on furlough. And so the first thing that we need to do, step one, is you need to write down your audience. Who do you want to build a presence with? Is it accountants if you recruit accountants? If you're in insurance, it's insurers. If it's education, well, it's probably teachers. And what I want you to do is, the first thing I do is I want you to write down what are the profiles of people that you actually want to sell to. Are they financial directors? Are they CTOs? Are they CIOs? Are they founders of startups? That's the first thing that you want to do. The second thing, and if you're a marketeer, this would be called persona. What you've got to do is draw out what an archetypal profile of person would look like. So what's their age? What stage of life might they be at personally? Because we need to engage on a personal level, not talking about their kids, but if we know we're selling to people in their sort of early 30s to sort of mid 40s, then probably the occasional family gag might go down well. The occasional one about like trying to homeschool might go down well as well. But most importantly, think about what leadership challenges might those people be going through at the moment. If you don't know, your first task is to just look up like leadership in COVID crisis, and start learning about what's going on in clients' heads and your persona's heads day to day. So we've got leadership. We've got industry. So what are the industry trends? So if you imagine in retail, it's all about e-commerce and it's about the struggling high street. It could be a technical industry. So you've got the accounting industry that works across multiple different sectors. Cool, right? So you might have an industry which is what they do for the market, and then you've got the technical function that they do. What are the trends? What are the issues at the moment? So if you recruit within certain technologies, what are the upcoming releases? What are the companies that have recently bought the software? Who's moved away from the software? Because what we want to do is understand what are the trends? What are the things that are going on in their mind? So to recap, we've got 4 areas that we want to be focusing on. We want to be thinking about leadership. We want to be thinking about career. And leadership, remember, engaging teams, hiring teams, retaining teams. Career is about security. It's about developing your own skill set. It's about learning. And then you've got industry skill set, and then you've got technical skill set. And in addition to that, if you're a really local provider, it could be that your focus is on the local area. So I know we've got big fans in Harris Lord. So obviously they do a lot in Horsham. So it's about what are the trends in Horsham? What is the local news in Horsham? We've got Jeremy on the call, and Jeremy, he does planning and environmental. So what are the challenges in that industry at the moment? Probably a few, because it's linked to the early stages of construction. But those challenges in themselves gives you something to talk about. The next thing that you need to start thinking about is who are the influencers in the industry, and where do the individuals hang out? So influencers could be professional associations. It might be individuals within the industry that have a voice, or it could be providers. So what I would often do is, one of the first things I did when I started my business is I wrote down a list of all the providers that sold within the recruitment industry, because they were trying to build relationships with the same people as me, which means they probably have got bigger, better funded marketing teams than yourself. And what that means is that they will be creating content that you can share. Remember, shared content still carries benefit for you, but also when you share someone else's content and tag them in, they then become a friend of yours as well, and it makes them more likely to share your content. One of the weird things about recruiters is we're so focused on ourselves, we don't often think about the wider organization. So if I was in Horsham, I'd be sharing Horsham Chamber of Commerce news, or Sussex news, or because then I'm raising my visibility with them, but also I'm providing credibility to everything I share because it's coming from a source people know and trust. When I recruited for accountants, I would always be on the ACA website, the ICAW website, the CIMA website. I'd be on Ernst & Young's website, Deloitte's website, because they were producing content that I didn't have the power to produce, but yet I knew my audience was interested in it. If you think about newspapers and you think about news sites now, a lot of those news sites, more than anything, they are what they're doing is really what they're doing is just collating news and then sharing that news. That's what we've got to be thinking about. And so find 2 or 3 of those sites today. What I want you to do is start thinking about and make a list. I want 3 lists. One list is the places that I think my audience go. Where do they hang out online? The second list is I'd like you to build a list of influencers in your industry. It could be providers, it could be industry associations, it could be individuals. And then the last list is I want you to look and write down the topics that they're talking about at the moment. Because once you start to understand those topics and you understand the issues and you understand what they think their audience is interested in, then they've given you a roadmap to know what you need to talk about as well. When people talk about thought leader, when you actually look at what most thought leaders share, really what they're doing is sharing what everybody else is sharing. Because everyone's watching everyone else and everyone's thinking, well, that's a good topic, I'll talk about that topic. Even in the recruiting gym, we've started doing live streams, and we've been a community training site for over a year now. But there's 3 other community sites that have sprung up over the last few weeks. Simon Lewis has mentioned Pager. Pager is a great tool that does that for you. But there's other tools that you can start using to curate articles. What Pager does is it shares it on all your profiles as well. But you've got tools like Buffer, Listly, Anders Pink, all of which allow you to curate content that you can share on a day-to-day basis. And that's what we've got to try and do. We've got to be thinking about, firstly, who is our audience? Secondly, where do they live and what topics are relevant for them? That's your mission for the day. Everyone that's furloughed, start understanding your market, understanding the issues. Because once you understand the issues, or at least know what the issues are, we can start finding solutions for those issues and begin the process of starting to promote ourselves and engage in the audience. And that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. So see you soon, everybody. See you later. Take care now. Bye.